and the Warriors. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Jacked Up podcast with K Rock.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for
I'm very
coming.
happy to be here.
Yeah. So I put this podcast together several months ago with the premise that I was going to meet interesting people, people that perhaps maybe their fans don't know who they are, where they came from. I mean, obviously, you're a talented singer and you have a fantastic band, and we're going to get into all that stuff. But the cool thing about this show is that we can have a conversation where we could talk about how you got into music. We're going to talk about your favorite records growing up, your favorite artists, favorite
Love it.
concerts. We'll talk about your hobbies and interests, things you do when you're not performing. We're going
Great.
to talk about your music.
I love it.
So the
It
first thing,
sounds like a great time.
it's going to be a great time. It's going to be. We're going to take our viewers on a journey. It's going to be the Luna Hour.
Yes,
So it's all about you.
I like it.
So first of all, I want to thank you for bringing in some merch. You got some
Yeah.
great stuff here.
Yes.
Tell me about
Thank you. Well, we're really proud of our logo, and I like all the Native American culture, and it's like half, it's a moon kind of, and we had this idea when we came up with the name Luna and the Warriors. So
I
we're just
love
very
Warriors.
proud, and we have, t-shirts, hoodies, hats.
So you know what's funny? I'm assuming one of these is for me.
Yes.
I'm going to wear this on stage. I always do this at a Jacked Up show. I'll wear
Yeah.
another band shirt.
That's
And
so
some
cool.
people that don't know what's going on, they get confused.
It's like, what?
Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good logo.
Yes.
Luna and the Warriors.
And it's our colors. As you can see, I like black. And so that's as far as I go, kind of black, red.
I'm a big
and
believer
white.
when we perform, especially at night in the clubs. Like we do places like the Gator Club.
Yeah.
We do that place down in Venice, TJ Carney's.
I've never been.
At nighttime, it becomes a club. So I'm all about black. Like I wear black, my singer wears black, like we're all black.
Yeah.
But during the day, in the
Yeah.
summertime, have you played here yet in the summer during the day? It's like
I
hot.
gotta say,
not
we
even the word.
did a whole 3 months at Busch Gardens, and it was very, very hot.
So like at that point, I'll tell my guys, listen, you can wear shorts and sandals, just, have a clean shirt, like don't look like a slob, like dress down for the
Yeah.
daytime because, the sun's beating on you. It's 90 degrees.
Yeah, it is. It is challenging, but I gotta say the best I can do is red. Even if it's summer, I still wear black.
So
and
black or red.
Yeah, some white and ivory, but
That's
that's
cool.
as far as I go.
So when you're performing, are you wear inner ears or you
Yes.
using a monitor?
Yes.
I believe in that. I think every lead singer, because here's the deal. A lot of lead singers will complain that I can't hear myself or this is too loud. So I say, all right, put on inner ears. Let's get your mix. You can control your own mix,
Yeah.
right? And then usually that problem is solved. How do you feel about that?
I love in-ears. It's like magic. Also because I also use wireless microphones, so I move around a lot. And if I need to hear something that I don't hear, sometimes I take one of my in-ears and I go out in the crowd and I still hear what's happening.
That's what I do.
So
Yeah.
I just definitely think it's the best way to go. And actually, all of our band uses in-ears, so we try to keep the stage as clean as
Yes.
possible.
Thank you.
Yes.
Our sound man appreciates that because what happens is if we get too loud on stage, it defeats the purpose of having a proper sound
Yeah.
man and a proper stereo mix coming through front of the house.
Yeah. But I've also been to places where they absolutely want to, have the monitors, and I always convince them, at least for me, not to have them.
Great example would be the Seafood Festival.
Yes.
They always
seafood-
use monitors, and,
Yes.
and we have no problem using monitors there. But
But I think
you're-
it's because of the speed. You have to be fast in that case. There's a lot of bands playing. They're great at what they do, but I gotta say they accommodate me also
Well,
there.
Ray,
They let me.
her
Yeah,
name is
Ray
Ray.
is amazing.
she's great.
She
Everybody
always,
loves Ray.
yeah, she lets me use in-ears, and also the drummer uses it.
Yeah.
So
It's
the rest
very
of the
professional.
band.
I feel it's very professional. It's going to save your voice.
Oh
as,
yeah.
as a guy who has trouble singing, I just sing lead on a few songs. I don't have much of a range. But when I do backups and I try to do some harmonies, having the inners, man, it makes a huge difference because I can hear everything.
I agree. I mean, when we have 3 or 4 hours gig, I have the bass player that maybe sings 2 songs max or 3, so the rest is all me. So it's very vital that I hear myself and
Let's
don't
let's
push.
talk about the band. So how many band members?
Right now, it's me and then lead guitar, rhythm, and lead because they do some, they trade leads and bass and drums. We had a keyboard player. We don't know if we'll have a keyboard player in the future, but yeah, that's where we're
So
at
there's
right
5
now.
of you.
Yes.
Okay. And are you doing, 2 75-minute sets? Or are you doing 3 60-minute sets? Or d
No, usually if it's 3 hours, I prefer the 75,
Okay.
275. Yeah.
So most bands will do a 3-hour show, like a 7 to 10, and break it down that way. But sometimes they'll say to us, okay, we need you to go 8 to 12.
Yeah.
So what we'll do then is we'll do 3 60-minute sets.
Yes, when we have to do 8 to 12 4 hours, we also do 3 sets.
So describe your music. Are you playing mostly 80s, mostly 90s? Is it a real big mix, 60s, 70s, and today? Like, how would you describe the mix of songs you're doing?
We really try to give a rock sound to everything that we do, and we do go through many ages of music. It could be from the 70s to today's music, but we always try to keep a rock sound. And we we do I love singing male songs more than female, even
Interesting.
if I'm a female. It's funny, but I just think there's much greater songs for the male.
More fun.
Yeah,
My female singer does the same. But
yeah,
I only heard your voice online.
yeah.
So I haven't heard it live. How would you describe your voice to somebody? If somebody said to you, "Hey, man, I haven't heard you yet, but what would you say you sound like?"
um I have a very strong voice, I think. And it could be, I am a mezzo soprano, so I have some low notes, but I also have some pretty high notes. And I don't know. I would say that it can be warm, but it can also be very like sharp
So
and
so
to the point.
comparing to singers that we might know, like say for an example, Alanis
Mhm.
Morissette,
Well,
Janis Joplin, Pat Benatar, like
for sure, when I
Stevie
do
Nicks.
when I do Alanis or when I do Janice, those are some of the favorites of people that come and see us. So
Because you can really
yes.
take off and showcase on those.
Yes, yes. I don't, but I also like to do my own thing, right? So when I do ACDC or Bon Jovi, it's different because they're not comparing me to anybody. They're just listening. So when you do Alanis, I think I do it pretty well, but then it's like you're compared to that kind
But
of.
you can also impress people. Like for an example, it's very hard to sing Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant. It's very hard to sing Journey,
Oh yeah.
Steve Perry. So what happens is like, can you? I'm sure you can hit all those high notes beautifully. Like you must really do Journey well.
I love Journey. I always say probably Separate Ways is one of my favorite songs that we do in our sets.
Very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
So
so funny because I always look at the set list. And first of all, do you make the set list
I do make the
and you try to
set
mix it up every
list.
show, or is it more or less?
I do try to mix it up every show.
Because
So
we like to block certain songs together. So like we know that this is a package of songs that's guaranteed to get them dancing. So
yeah.
we keep that in sync. You know what I'm saying?
That's the idea. I mean, it is the idea most of the times, but I don't know if you've run into this, but as you know, I'm from Clearwater. Some people from the band are from Tampa. The bass player is from Newport Richie. And so sometimes when we go down to like Cape Coral or Fort Myers or things like that, not everybody can make it because of work if we have a Friday gig. So we need subs. So when you start putting subs in, it becomes a little bit more problematic because not everybody knows every song that we do.
Sure.
And since we also do originals that come from my album, I mean that's an added thing that they would have to know. So yes, I basically have to do the set list
Well, if
almost
you ever
every
need a
time.
fill-in bass player, let me know.
Yeah.
I do fill in with other bands.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay,
But
good.
I'm interested in your originals. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
So I would need time to
Yes.
practice that.
Yes. The
Let's
originals
talk
or
about it now. Yeah. Let's get the CD out.
okay. Well, first of all, I love CDs. At least, that's my thing. I know that you can download everything, or you can find the album on Spotify and
Sure.
iTunes and stuff like that. But
Yeah, you get to look at the booklet.
I did the booklet, and I really put my heart into it. There's pictures from my life because the album is called Seasons, so it's literally seasons of life, and the songs are about times that you can encounter in life, and
So was
situations.
this a work in progress for many years? Or is this something that you just got
Actually,
creative and banged it out in a
I
couple
I
months?
got creative. That's what I've always done with music. Like, I have to be in, like, not working and just in a space when nobody's gonna bother me, and then just nail it down. And I think it took like 3 times a week, just,
Dedicated,
segregated
focused.
and focused,
Okay, so
yeah.
here's a great question. So now you're a cover band and everybody's going crazy dancing to your stuff. How do you put the originals in? Like where how do you get them into the set?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because at the beginning, I would say, "Okay, this is my original," and I would start talking, and you have this reaction where everybody fades out, right? From being, even if they're right in front of you dancing, they're, like, leaving. And so at one point, it was funny because I'm like, "Okay, I'm not gonna say it's my song, I'm just gonna
Just do it.
do it,"
And then say
right?
afterwards, say, I wrote that song.
Yes, and then after I write that song, but it was funny because sometimes you have people that are trying to sing along, and I see that they're really doing an effort, and it makes me smile because I know that they can't possibly know the song most of the times, but the fact that they're trying to and
That's
they're
cool.
dancing,
Well,
so
you know what?
it's
That's a
really
great sign
fun.
then, because then maybe the song is so good or so familiar to them that they're enjoying it.
Well, I think it's obviously, now that we're playing a lot, because we play every weekend, twice usually a weekend. Um, there's people that start having their favorites of our originals, right? So I, since we do the set list all the time, I don't have the same. I try not to have the same originals every time. And so when I don't do one, they're like, "Oh, but why didn't you do that song?" So,
Well, within this podcast, as it gets edited, and it'll be out in a couple days, we'll insert some clips, some of your
oh,
original music will be in there,
nice.
so the
Thank you.
listeners can actually listen to it,
Oh,
or my
cool.
viewers can actually listen to it.
Yes.
So what made you come down? So you're up in Tampa, you're up in Clearwater, Newport. What made you come down south? Like, it's like a warrior invasion, right? You're coming into Manatee County, Sarasota County. You're going down to Charlotte County. Now you're actually in Lee County. Like
Yeah.
that's a lot of coverage there. Like, what made you want to get in your car and drive so much?
Well, I know that K Love was here, and her and Twinkle and I and other bands were part of Artie's management.
Oh, you're with Artie. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so funny
So
because I've yet to meet Artie, and everybody's working with Artie except me. And I'm like, I got to meet this guy.
he's
Maybe get
super
him on the
fun.
show, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's super fun. He would do great
Well,
on,
isn't he a comedian?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know.
So he's booking you at all these wonderful places. Gotcha.
Yes. Yes. So he's doing a great job. I mean, for next year, we have so many dates already that I don't think there's like a lot of dates that are
So do you guys try
available.
to carpool to save on gas, or does everybody take their own car?
It depends. It depends where we're going. Usually, me and the bass player, we carpool just because he's from Newport Richie and I'm on the way.
Sure.
And so he comes with me. And sometimes the player, one of the guitar players and the drummer, they carpool because they live close to one another. But we also have like families and things like that, so sometimes they just do their own thing.
So do you like to be busy, like every Friday and Saturday? You like to be working, or do you like to have an occasional Friday or Saturday off?
I love, I mean, for me, I work. Music is for sure something that I want to do and get a great exchange for, but I love music. For me, it's not like an effort. I could sing every night and still enjoy it. And I think I live life in general like that because my other job is in fashion. My family has had a fashion brand since 1977. So we do, high-end
Where's
fashion,
your family
believe it or
from?
not. Italy. I'm from Italy. I was born and raised in Italy,
Very cool. What part?
Milano. Yeah. So my language is actually Italian. So when I have to interview or speak in English, I'm always kind of
It's funny because I only know one phrase in Italian, and I learned it to meet ladies.
okay.
You wanna hear it?
I was
You wanna hear it?
usually they say bad words, but yes.
"Tu sei la bellissima donna che mai l'ho visto."
Okay, okay, almost.
How was that? Was
Oh,
that good?
it was almost perfect. It was mixed up a
Yeah.
couple of
Well,
words,
that's my
but
New York version of it.
yeah, but definitely one of my guitar player, Larry Chase, uh he was in the aviation in Italy, and so
Very
he's a
cool.
veteran.
So, there's a question I have as a big connoisseur of Italian food, specifically New York style.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
big New York guy. I'm from New York, so bagels, pizza, hot dogs, all
Okay.
those fun things. So now, someone like you who really probably grew up on really delicious food,
Yes.
where do you go around here? Like, what restaurants do you like? Where do you get your pizza?
So I know this is gonna sound awful, but out of all the people that you could ask that it's Italian, I've had a problem since I was uh very little. I can't eat gluten. So usually I go in places that do gluten free, but I don't consider that pizza that
I
much
know
because it doesn't taste the
it
same.
doesn't
The
taste the same.
pasta doesn't taste the same. So I like other things, but if you're talking about favorite Italian restaurants, for sure, there's an Italian restaurant that just opened. The chef is a friend of mine, Ciro Mancini, and the restaurant is called Valentino on Gulf to Bay in Clearwater.
Fantastic.
That's amazing. And then there's a place in Tampa that I love that is called Rocca. So those are the two places that
So now, if you're
I would
saying
go
these are
to.
good places and you're
But
authentic,
I love to cook at home,
oh, do you? Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now,
I'm a foodie,
Now
so
here's the
I
thing,
love
in
to cook.
today's world, you can really do well gluten-free, like, there's a lot of options
Oh,
now and
yeah, for
choices and
sure.
things. I know this because my nephew's wife is gluten-free. In fact,
Yeah.
she's got celiac disease, right?
Yeah,
Which
that's
and
what
you
I
can get really
yeah.
sick if you don't,
Yeah,
so she
yeah.
has to, like, really go out of her way.
Yeah,
And
that's what I try to do, and, being Italian also, the great thing, though, is that I've become the queen of, risotto, like rice,
sure,
like we do it because that I can do, and so
excellent.
I do a lot of those when I
And
need
you could
to
probably
have
do a
some
meatball
starch.
without any, like, with gluten-free bread or
Yeah,
breading.
yeah. Yeah, there's some gluten-free options as far as that goes. Breaded and, if you do cotoletta, which is, I would say, what you guys would call chick parm, but it's not the same
Okay,
thing. Like, I love to do cotoletta with veal, stuff like that.
interesting,
Yeah,
fantastic. Now,
the real
so how
way.
long have you lived in Florida now?
Stable, like I actually moved here, I think 2013 was.
Okay, so we're talking about 11 years right now.
Yeah.
And how long has Luna and the Warriors been together?
Uh, so I would say we did our first gig in mid to 2023, but we didn't do many gigs. I think we did like maybe
So
four
it's
or
a
five.
fairly new band.
Yes, and especially with the actual people that are in it right now, like
And how did you
very
find them? Did
new.
you do a Craigslist, a band mix? Like, how did you assemble these musicians?
Well, I was contacted by Larry Chase, who's the rhythm and lead guitar. He found me from Bandmix. As the founders of the band right now that are left is actually me and him, and then the bass player came in, and then the lead guitarist came in, and then we got our amazing drummer Rick Jones a few months ago. So
Yeah, I
he's
mean, you know
amazing.
what? I've been around for 6 years with Jacked Up, and I've gone through a lot of different musicians.
Yeah,
So
I don't
it's
love that
challenging.
because
It's
for me
challenging,
it's family,
right? But it's
So
hard to keep a drummer. It's hard to keep this guy because you know what? We live in an area where people are constantly moving.
yeah,
People are constantly, some we live out. There's a lot of retirees here, right?
yeah.
So my band right now is set. I'm very happy with my lineup. But I reached out to you, if you remember.
Yes,
So
that was funny.
several
Yeah,
years ago,
like 2 years ago.
what
Yeah.
happened was I was looking for a singer, and you were on band mix,
Yes.
and
That's sort
I
of
reached out to you when we had several conversations.
yeah.
I think at the time, it wasn't so appealing for you at the time to come down to
No,
Sarasota.
because it was like I would have to go by myself alone, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm
So
not.
no, so you were very professional about it, and you're like,
Yeah,
"I'm not interested, but thank you for thinking of me."
yeah,
I ended up finding somebody else,
yeah.
and that person played for a year with us, and then she left. So I'm on my 5th singer now,
Oh wow.
and I always have a female singer because that's the way that was my mindset. I put this band together with the premise that I was gonna have a female singer, and
Yeah.
like you, we'll still do male songs
Oh
because I really like the interpretation of a male song sung by a female
yeah,
voice.
yeah, yeah. I agree, and actually, I've had great luck with guitars and bass. But my biggest problem had been definitely keys and drums. But with Rick, we found, the solution. As I said, we play every weekend. So Rick is an amazing guy. He's a cancer nurse besides being an amazing drummer. So sometimes on Fridays, if we go too far, like to Fort Myers or Naples, he can't make it. So then we need, a backup and a
Now,
sub.
how do you find your backups? Like, for an example, I know so many musicians.
Yeah.
I've worked with at least 6 drummers,
Yeah.
and I'd say 3, maybe 4 of them know my material really well.
Yeah.
There's 2 that probably don't as much. But, how would you then go about finding a drummer? Say Bill Kenny, Paragon, friend of mine,
Yeah.
does wonderful seafood festivals, and
Yeah.
every weekend there's one going on, and they spread out.
Yeah.
He'll be in Tampa one weekend, he'll be in Naples another weekend, Bonita. Let's say you get a gig, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be in
We're
Bonita.
part of that.
How would
So
you find a drummer for that region?
Well, we're actually also auditioning another drummer on Thursday. So we have Rick, like Rick is our drummer. Rick Jones is our drummer. He's amazing. My dad was a drummer, so I am very picky. And we have uh Johnny DiMaggio that he comes, but he's not always available because he also
Sure.
subs. And then we need other. I think to be safe because people get sick or
Of
people go
course.
on
How about during
vacation
COVID?
or
Everybody was sick.
exactly right. So yeah, I think to be safe you need at least 2 or 3 subs, and especially that are from different places. Like I'm thinking to find more of like bass player and drums towards Sarasota and down because that's my main problem because all my people are up. So
Well, let me know because like I said, I know a
yeah,
lot of people.
yeah,
So if you ever need some names and numbers and people to call, let me know because like I said, I guitarists, bass players, drummers, I
yeah,
mean, I know them all, keyboard players, really. It's funny because I have a female singer that will sub in for my current female singer when
yeah.
she needs it. So I'm fortunate that I can always do that. It's you, it's going to be difficult because since you're Luna and the Warriors, you can't really sub yourself out.
Yeah, and that's the beginning. At the beginning, we said, "Well, let's do it like that." So the Warriors have an identity, by themselves in a way. So um, we thought about that. Fortunately, I haven't been sick or I didn't have to cancel stuff yet. Let's but
So let's talk about bands in particular.
mhm.
I'm going to throw some bands out at you. Have you seen Twinkle and Rock Soul Radio?
Oh yeah,
Aren't they
I love Twinkle.
fantastic?
Yeah, she's like the the rock star. She's amazing. I
Yeah,
love
her energy
Twinkle.
is incredible,
Yeah.
and she's gonna be on the show in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you told me. That's
Yeah,
amazing. She's great. She's just a beautiful soul. I love Twinkle. I love the whole band. They're just super
they're
cool.
solid guys,
Yeah.
and there's a story there. My band, I didn't have a band. I was coming here to Florida to visit my family, and my bass was under my bed collecting dust, and I got inspired when I saw Twinkle play at a couple festivals,
Oh,
and seeing
nice.
them inspired me, and I'm like, "You know what? It's time for me to get back into it, get my band together, well, put a band together, take my bass out, click the dust off, and start playing again," and then Jacked Up was born. So
Yeah.
I credit them, and I'm gonna have the chance to tell that to her face
That's amazing.
when I see her.
I'm sure she will be super happy also because she's one of those people that, she wants people on stage with her. She wants,
Collaborate.
people to
Yeah.
collaborate and she wants people to flourish and prosper, which I
Do you know her
love.
backstory? Have you studied up on her, like,
Yeah.
all the wonderful
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
she's done
Yeah. She's
and the people she
amazing.
knows? Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw some more names at you. Now, K Love. So Kim was here recently. What do you
Yes,
think of that
I
that band?
saw.
Their energy.
Oh, I love it. I think they're amazing at what they do, and Caleb just has a great voice. She's a great professional.
She's the real deal.
She's the real
I
deal.
mean, she's
She's
wedding band quality stuff,
yeah,
corporate.
no, she's like a boss. Amazing woman. I love
Now,
Caleb.
being up
She's
in the
great.
Tampa area, have you seen Jezebel and Sammy Joe?
Funny enough, I've always heard about Jezebel. I've seen videos. We've chatted a few times on Facebook, not directly, but there was somebody who attacked me and she went like hands down to defend
Oh,
me
she's
and
good like
other
that, yeah.
people. So, it was, we don't know each other, but we
I'm
respect
gonna
each
introduce you
other.
I'll
And
introduce you to,
yeah,
because you guys would get along great. She's dynamic. She was on the show. She's a little rocker,
yeah.
sweet as pie, but when she's on stage, she looks and sounds ferocious.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
she
she
attacks it, man.
does.
She
She
attacks it.
does. I remember I saw a video where she was like climbing, I think at OCC, she was climbing up to
Yeah.
do an
No, that's her.
AC/DC song. So
Yeah.
it was she looks super
She
fun.
plays the role really, really well.
Yeah.
Then there's more local bands like the Braden Tucky Death Rays.
No, I haven't
Okay.
heard of
Down
that.
south, there's Gas House Gorillas.
Yes, I've heard of them. And I know that she changes her clothes many times,
So
or she
Renee,
used to, I guess,
okay.
right?
So Renee Adorna and her husband Tommy,
Yeah.
the drummer, put this band together. Their guitarist is top shelf, and their bass player, a friend of mine, Joey Fingers, top shelf. So it's the four excellent, excellent musicians.
Nice.
Renee's been doing this for years. I think she's from the Wisconsin area, so she grew up in rock and roll bands.
Wow.
And she said to me the reason why she changes her outfit is that it's just like normal for her. Like she grew up seeing bands that
Yeah.
changed their outfits, and she didn't understand why other bands weren't doing that.
Yeah.
So she'll come out like last night. I saw her 2 nights ago, I guess it was. She had like the ringmaster, like circus thing, and then she came out in something a little softer. So she has somebody that actually designs costumes for her.
Wow. That's
But
nice.
she's all about that. See, that's what's cool about that band is that the music's fantastic, but she's very, very particular about that, and that's what makes them unique.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some pictures and it looks very good, like a show. I personally don't have I try to do that if we have breaks, but that's about it because I could not have the time
No one has
between
the time.
songs.
Look, you want to get a cold drink,
Yeah.
you want to go to the bathroom, and then you want to say hello to a few people. Then you got to go back on.
Yeah.
I don't like taking long breaks. My singer always wants to take a little bit more time, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm watching people as as the founder and the leader. I'm thinking about money, and I'm seeing people either buying drinks or not buying drinks. I see people leaving or not. Like so, I'm cognizant of that. Like, listen, let's go on now instead of 10 minutes later because people might be leaving soon.
Yeah.
We got to keep dancing.
Yeah. No, I understand, and obviously as a singer, I also understand the other part. And as I said, it always depends if you have somebody else that sings in the band or not. I only Alex only does literally 2 or 3
That's all, huh?
songs, so
So it's
yeah.
too bad he doesn't do more because I do more than that. And what I do is I give my singer a break.
Yeah, we're working on it, but Alex is which is why I also try to find a sub for Alex, but Alex is the one that also sings and does most of the backing vocals, so it's hard to not have him for me.
Right. And what was it? Instrument does he play? He's
Bass.
the bass guy.
Yeah.
I know you can hear me. Stop fighting with your head and fix what we've done bad. We are warriors. No, we won't let go. We will win with no guns but words.
How do you warm up your voice before a show? Do you take a lot of time? Are you cognizant of that? Are you using sprays, lotions? You're gargling. Like, what are you doing to get yourself ready to perform?
So I definitely warm up. I usually do 2 warm-ups. I do a warm-up when I'm doing my makeup. So long before I even, leave the house. And then I do one just, I would say 30 minutes before I get to the venue so that, I'm warmed
And
up and I try
are you
not to
doing a
talk that
scale? You doing a
much.
scale? You're doing the me, ma, mo, moo.
I do a lot of different things. I also started singing or going to. I started singing when I was very little, but I started taking lessons from an opera singer. So I do some things that are also more opera oriented. So weird stuff that I'm not gonna.
And I'm assuming you don't drink on stage, you don't smoke.
No.
Yeah, because you know what? As we get older, like I used to be a big drinker. I quit
Yeah.
drinking. I don't
Yeah.
drink. Period. I don't drink, but I certainly don't drink on stage anymore.
No, I have a rule, and I lost some musicians because of that. For me, I mean, what you do, obviously, you're always as a band, we are our own business card, right? So even after the show, you can't be you can't go and get drunk. But on stage, I don't care what problem you have in your life. If you need to talk to me or to the others, we're happy, we're a family, and we're always trying to help each other. But alcohol or any drug is not a solution for me. It's actually
Plus,
hiding,
you know what?
the
It's
problem.
very smart. I agree 100%. And also the venues take notice of that. For an example, I think when a venue hires us, yeah, they're paying us. And it's the premise that they're going to make that money back tenfold with the
Yeah.
amount of alcohol and food
Yeah.
they're going to sell.
Yeah, of course.
So, we work for them,
Yeah.
and it took me a while to figure that out. I think when I was younger, I was always about myself and like what I want to play, what I want to hear. And then as you get older and you mature and you evolve as a musician, you start realizing, okay, I'm a performer now. So now I'm going to play Brown Eyed Girl, even though I hate the song, or I'm going to play Sweet Home Alabama, even though I
Yeah.
hate it, because people want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, it's not about my buzz. It's about the audience's buzz.
Yeah.
I'll say fun, cool things on the microphone, get people fired up.
Yeah.
If there's a drink special, I'll certainly help sell that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and thank God no one's giving me shots on stage anymore. In the old days, they used to bring us a tray,
Yeah.
so I'd be
have,
polite and I would
yeah.
take it, I put it to the side,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be tempted like that.
I think there is this rock star idea, right? So people always try to have shots with me when we have a break, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like
They're like, hey, can I buy you a drink?
yeah.
Or they just come up with the shots.
Well,
Here,
you
this is
can
for
give
you.
us a tip,
This is for
but
you.
yeah, you can give us a tip, but no, and that's kind of also my point of view. Sometimes, like, if you're willing to buy me a
Hey,
drink,
just give
why
me the
don't you
money.
just tip
Give
us
me the
so we
cash.
can all share,
Right.
the tips? Because for us, sometimes when we go down to Fort Myers, Cape Coral, it's like 2 hours and a half drive. It's
Sure,
not like around the corner, so I think that would be a smarter way to make us feel like you're contributing to us
sure.
being there.
Now,
So
you have a nice big tip jar up front,
yes,
and
we
do you
do.
like light it up? Do you do anything to make it look like
No, we don't light it up, and I gotta say, I don't love talking about, like, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. So I kind of put it there. Sometimes one of the band members talks about it, and
I agree, it makes you uncomfortable, but I talk to all my guests about this because everyone's got a different policy.
yeah,
For an example, we have a tip jar. I put some lights on it, it blinks, but I'm not like, hey, everybody, don't forget to tip the band. Like I would never do that.
yeah, it
I'll
it
say tip
just
your
makes
servers,
yeah,
but sometimes my singer might say something. Hey guys, if you're really enjoying the band, stop by the tip jar, or if
yeah,
you want to get a free sticker, come by the tip jar. Wink, wink.
yeah,
But yes, it could be uncomfortable because we're there. Like my philosophy is this: some guy puts $100 in, $50 in, which happens a lot. That means that they're really impressed, they're having a great time,
yeah,
and they can afford that.
yeah.
But the same person that puts in $1, that's a big deal too, because that's
Yeah.
maybe
No,
that's all.
I don't judge how much you put in it. I do um I don't love, if I gotta say, is sometimes I have people like waving money in my face saying, I'm gonna give you this if you do this. And I'm like,
Like a circus monkey.
yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you though.
Well,
So it's like,
that happens to us, and say like someone's like, I want to hear, you know, Freebird, and the dangle of money in front of you. And I'm like, get the hell, get out of here, man.
yeah, no.
Like what is this? But sometimes they're polite and they'll take their like these bridal parties that come in.
Yeah.
They'll smart because they'll take their phone. I guess women do this more than men do, and they'll type out on the phone. So like as I'm playing, they'll say, do some Jimmy Buffett.
In the tip bucket, you can also put, like, if you want to hear a song, you can put a note in it, and if we can do it, we'll do it. If not, it's ideas for the next time we're there, or to add to our
Now, what are
repertoire.
some of the songs that are coming across that people are saying to you, did you play? Like for an example, we get Sweet Home a lot, we get Tom Petty a lot. We've gotten Freebird and Stairway before, And actually, when we had 2 guitar players, we said we surprised everybody. We did Stairway.
Oh,
We
nice.
did we did acoustic in the beginning, then we did and we killed it. We all looked at each
Nice.
other like, "Oh my god, that was perfect." And everybody went crazy, but that was like a one time only. But we did it just to shut people up, you know?
I get all kind of requests. I guess one song that I feel that a lot of people that are female singers in the area do that everybody wants me to do is Zombie, but I didn't add it to our set list yet. Also because I think it's nice to have a variation when you go out and hear a band. If me and Twinkle and Jezebel and all these people did exactly the same songs all the time, I would believe it's kind of boring. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you're putting on a show.
So yeah,
It's your production, you're the producer,
yeah,
and you're gonna entertain them with these songs that you've picked, and
exactly,
and and that should be good enough.
exactly.
But here's and I agree with that, but at the same time, I've come to the realization that I have to do what they want
Yeah,
because that's what I'm there for,
yeah.
and, like, I had a couple one time this happened to another band, I couldn't believe they did this. I'm watching this band, and the lady comes up with her husband or fiancé, and they have money, like, "This is our wedding song, can you play Sweet Home Alabama?" And they said no to her. And I was sitting there,
Well,
I'm like, "I can't believe that." They're but these nice people, they had the money, they wanted to
well,
slow dance or whatever they were gonna do.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, sometimes, maybe not for you because you were born and raised here, but sometimes they come up and first of all, not everybody might know the songs in the band really. But especially for me, like the older songs or the oldies for me are my Italian songs,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
not the American
right,
songs. So sometimes they come up to me
right. So
like
you're not a
I
classic
have
rock,
to know
you're not
it.
a big '60s, '70s classic rock person.
Well, some of it, but not all of it, especially not anything that it's close to country, just because it's literally not where I come from.
Well, I'm glad you said country because I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you,
Yeah.
do you guys play any country? And do you get requests for country?
So I do get requests for country and we do a couple of country songs. I'm starting to get more used to it because as I said, it's a sound and also the way it's sang that it's very different from the other genres that I've done. And yeah, I love the songs that we do as far as country. I think we're gonna add a few more, but we're definitely more towards rock, not super heavy rock, but
Would you say there's a good chunk of '80s, danceable '80s stuff in there?
yeah,
And then some of the
definitely.
'90s as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of new things like even I would say, Paramore and
I love
stuff like
Paramore.
that. Yeah.
She does a version of "Burning Down the
Oh,
House."
I love that version.
That version's
I've
great.
I've been trying to, push
And
it on the
the live
van.
drumming on
Yeah.
that is great, and the way
Yeah.
she dances,
Yeah.
she's a real entertainer, man.
Yeah, she is.
Haley
Yeah.
Williams, is that her name?
Haley Williams, yeah.
There's a
And
song
she opened up for Taylor Swift her whole tour, so
oh,
they
the
really like
okay, that explains it then, because 'cause I'm
yeah.
watching these videos of she's in a stadium,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "She's playing in a stadium, it's packed." I'm like, "I didn't think Paramore was that popular."
No, no,
She
no,
was
she's
opening up.
opening,
Yeah,
yeah, for
man.
Taylor Swift.
Very
So,
cool, very
yeah,
cool.
yeah, so they're doing great, and, yeah, that Burning Down the House, version, I've been trying to push it
Do
lately
you
on
do
the
any
band.
slow songs? And if so, like, do you strategically put them in for the people that wanna slow dance?
Um, we try to keep the slow songs together or depending on the set, depending on the place, I put, like, one at the beginning and one at the end or one in the middle so
And
that
which
it's
ones are
not
you doing, like, the belly bumpers? Like, which songs did you choose to
mm, I mean, the slow songs that we do that I would consider slow, for sure, All I Wanna Do Is Make Love to You, but the Hailstorm version, so it's a little bit more rock. We do I'm the Only One, that's considered slow for me. There's a part of the show, which is a part that I love because I call it like you know, the beach time moment where we kind of try to have everybody sing along. So we start that usually with Shallow, and then we go and we do like What's Up and other things. But one of the guitarists plays acoustic guitar, so we have that acoustic sound. and that is a fun part, I think, of the show. It is at least fun, very fun for me, because I feel it brings people together a little bit
Yeah.
more.
So how would you explain your show to people? So like, when they come to see a Luna and the Warriors show, are there's gonna be like nonstop dancing? Is it gonna be more of like dance in your chair kind of stuff?
I think it really depends on the place. Uh I try to do the set list, so there is a big chunk, like half of the set or a third of the set, where you're really dancing nonstop. And then there's more epic songs. That's, that's a part of it. So usually people are, you know, singing in their chair, or like, swaying their hands or things like that. And so I would say a little bit of both. I think people like to listen sometimes, and just because I think the musicians in the band are great musicians. So it's like also nice to listen,
Sure.
to good
So when
music.
we play the Gator Club, which is pretty demanding, 9:30
I've never
p to
been.
2 a. It's a nightclub.
Oh, wow.
And if you like, I can introduce you to the people
Wow.
there. I think you guys would be great there. But we play there like once a month. And so what we do, because they make you play for 4.5 hours, so
Wow.
you have to really spread it out. But
That's a
we'll
lot.
open up to like 60s and
But
70s
yeah.
because there's not that many people there. People are just coming out. Plus the people that are there waiting for you to come on, they're older, so they want to go home. So like they
Mm,
just finished their meal on Main
yeah.
Street. They
Yeah.
come to see you. They say, "When are you going to go on? When are you going to go on?" And meal it's only 8:30. I'm like, "Well, we're going to go on at 9:30." So sir, they'll wait. We go on at 9:30, play a few songs. They're happy. They go home. So
Yeah.
that crowd leaves.
Yeah.
So now the next crowd starts coming in, right? So when we're in our second set, that's when we start off with Footloose, and everything is that same
Yeah.
beats per minute, and we just take them on a freaking 75-minute, 80-minute journey of just
Wow.
all high end because that's the money. That's the money set. The second set,
Yeah.
you got your biggest audience,
Yeah.
and then they leave, and then the drunks start coming in, right? So now for the third set, we're doing like our 90s, we're doing our epic stuff like
Yeah.
Sticks and Epic Journey and Heart back the
Yeah.
guitar. So we save that for that, you know.
I think that's a great way to do it too. I don't think I could do 75, 80 minutes of straight dance, just because I'm the only one
It's
singing.
not easy.
and
It's not
and
easy.
and I think that people that have come to see us can say without a doubt that I rarely am in the same spot for more
You
than
move around a
5
lot.
seconds.
That's good.
So,
That's good.
yeah, doing that for also with, I don't necessarily sing easy songs.
Yeah.
So,
So you got to catch your breath. Maybe
yeah.
get us.
Yeah.
See, what our drummer's so good. He's nonstop, man. And he's just a machine. And he very rarely stops, which I love. And it's as a bass
Yeah.
player, so him and I are just doing our thing. Now the guitar player will strategically choose when to tune.
Yeah.
So, like, say there's an intro that he's not involved with, so he'll tune or switch out guitars.
Yeah.
Same with me, like but yes, our singer sings a lot. She looks at me sometimes. I can tell she's in pain. So I have several songs that I strategically put them in. So, like, say she'll sing 5, and then it's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes she'll make me do 2, so she can run the ladies' room or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm teaching her. She's younger. She's newer. I'm teaching her to go take the mic in the audience, but at the same time realize that you're still a professional. And you got to come back. Don't get lost in the crowd.
Yeah.
One time she started hanging her microphone at the people. I'm like, no, please don't ever do that.
I mean, that's always, it's funny. I was looking at a Phil Collins concert lately that I love from Paris, and he also lets the people sing. And there's some people that sing great, and some people that are like, "Oh my god,"
They start screaming.
But still, he's letting them do, because at the end of the day, we're there for them, and they're there to have fun and to participate, and they wanna feel like they are part of
Sure.
that moment,
A
right?
great example of
So,
that is that we do Sweet Caroline,
oh,
and there's
nice.
a wonderful, wonderful audience participation.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
and Sweet Caroline, they can sing that too.
Yeah.
So at that point, yes, we will hold the mic and put, like this, right?
Yeah. I do that with, like, as I said, we have that beachy moment. So when I do "What's Up" or things like that, I usually go in the crowd and
People
have
love
them
that
sing.
song, "What's
Yeah.
Up,"
Yeah. I know.
because you can, as a singer, you can really stretch your muscles on that,
Yeah.
your
And
vocal
I
cords, and
and
like really get into it.
I at the beginning, the guys were like, they weren't really close to
It,
do it,
it's a
and
boring
then
song, like instrument, like the chords are simple and it's kind of boring.
I know, but I think it's a great song, and
Oh
and
yeah, no, it's a great song.
everybody,
The crowd
it
loves it.
somehow
Crowd loves it.
been part of everyone's life because at some
Yeah,
point in time you've
no
heard
doubt.
it and you
Just like
sang it,
Zombie,
and
people
yeah,
love either the cranberry version or the harder version from the
yeah,
Lone Wolves or whatever
yeah.
they're called. But there's also Creep. People love to hear Creep. I'm
Oh
so
yeah, yeah,
special, right?
yeah. Absolutely. They just asked me to do that last week.
And
I
then
don't
we'll have our
remember when.
traditional, Tom Petty. You got your Brian Adams. Your typical bar stuff that's
Yeah.
kind of expected. So
I
there's
mean,
a
I'm a Brian Adams fan. I only do one song of Brian Adams, but if it was for me, I would do all his
You know what I
albums
would do? You know what I would love to do with you,
Yeah.
as a promoter, not just as a musician, is I like to pair you. I like to put you with a male voice and have you do some like cool duets. That'd be
Oh, that
badass.
that for sure would be
That'd be
cool.
badass.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because there's
for
a lot of
sure.
good male singers here too.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the female ones,
I
but
mean, for sure, one of my greatest bands that I had not here because I sang most of my time in Italy was when I had another male singer because you do a lot of harmonies and you back each other up. So it's
so
definitely,
so there were two hard rock guys, hair rip metal guys that were on my show. Dane McCartney, okay, from a band called the Lost Boys.
yeah.
This guy's from Chicago and he lives here now. He used to be in an Iron Maiden tribute. That's the kind of voice he has.
Wow.
This guy is one of the best singers I've ever heard. And he could do all that Judas Priest. He could
Wow.
do like all the Def Leppard. He could do anything that you got to get really high and hold it. Queen, he does that stuff.
Love it.
And he's going to actually, I asked him the special guest. We're going to open up for Blue Oyster Cult at this big festival. So I asked him to come up and sing a couple songs with us as a special guest. Then there's another guy named Tyler Gray. Tyler Gray is with a band called Sunset Strip. And,
Nice.
and he's also from Tampa. And man, he's got pipes. And so these two guys can hit those high notes, but they can
Yeah.
hold it and sustain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, did you see the Queen movie?
Yes.
Yeah, his mouth and his teeth and his physical structure allowed him to sing and
Definitely.
breathe.
The
And
structure makes a
like
big
he could breathe in a
difference.
different way that most humans
Yeah.
couldn't.
Yeah.
And he was able to do what he did.
Yeah,
Isn't that
yeah,
cool?
yeah. I think definitely the our body, helps us in the sounds that we have. And
So you're gonna laugh. So I take vocal lessons now. I just started.
nice.
Every Thursday night, I do a half-hour lesson with Miss Maggie.
Okay.
Even though she's younger than I call her Miss Maggie because it's
Okay.
all little kids. It's like I'm the only grown up there. It's funny
Okay.
because I'm in the studio with her, and next door is some kids going, playing Three Blind Mice or like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
basic child
Yeah.
song. It's hysterical. But I'm anyway.
It is what it is.
I'm
I
like,
mean, if I went to play bass, that's what I would do probably.
well, I told her, I said, look, here's my situation. These are the songs that I'm doing. This is my range, right?
Yeah.
I'm a Bruce Springsteen kind of guy, and so she's helping me, breathe, and she's helping me, warm up, and she's showing me that I can do this, but I can't do this, that kind of stuff.
I think, like any muscle in the body, the vocal cords are the same thing. You need to be willing to, put some time in it and train and ear training. I think it's also super important
Would you
because
say that
that's
you have?
one thing.
Would you say that you have perfect or close to perfect pitch?
Yeah. I think I have a good pitch, and I usually hear if something is off. So
So you
yeah,
can hear a D, you can hear an A
yeah,
minor.
yeah.
Let's talk about your younger days. Let's talk
Mm.
about your training. Let's talk about how you got into music. So, for an example, take me back to you said your father was a musician,
Yeah.
so he had friends over the house. There were musicians around. There was live
Well,
music
my
around.
my dad literally toured, so when I was little, so me and my mom would meet him sometimes when he was closer by,
And
and
this was in Italy.
yeah,
And what kind of music was it?
it was like I would say popular pop from Italy. Like one of the people that he toured with was Anna Oxa, which she is a beautiful and amazing singer from Italy, and at the time, she
Is
was sort
American
of.
music popular in Italy? Like, did it come in and like people? Are there like bands in Italy that do American songs, or is everything basically Italian?
No, 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 of course. Yeah. No, of course. You have Starbucks in Italy,
So
so
like
that
there could
don't.
be like a Van Halen tribute band in
Yeah,
Italy.
you have everything in Italy, and you have women's of rock tribute, and they do all the rock stuff
So
from
these are Italian men and women that are just doing that kind of rock.
yeah, and one of the best Queen tributes that I've seen is in Italy. There's a Queen tribute that is out of this world. Like they are
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I love that. You
Unbelievable.
get goosebumps and chills when you
Oh
sing.
yes. And that is one of the main reasons why I wish I had a keyboard player, because I love Queen so.
Listen, here's the
But
deal. You could still get a keyboard player. I mean, I know you don't want 6 guys on stage, I get it. But you know what though? Especially some of these bigger
oh,
stages,
listen, I
it
don't
it
have a problem with having 6 people on stage. I've just I don't know if it's an American thing, but so far, they're just very unique, very unique people.
you
I, d-
see, I
I don't usually like to cram them up together, but
well, look,
that's
they're also artists in the sense that
yeah,
these 2 guitar players are doing what they need to do to cover for a piano player. So they're
yeah,
playing the way they need to play, which is totally cool. There's a lot of bands that don't have a keyboard
yeah,
player, and we had no keyboard player for many years, but now we have one. It opens up
which
so
might be
many
awesome. Oh
doors.
yes, of
I mean, it's
course,
crazy. Now, the only
100%.
negative is Alex, and he's gonna laugh when he hears this. His name is Alex, is that he doesn't sing. So I'm like, dude, for Christ's sakes, man, can't you sing something? I mean, help us out here. And my drummer doesn't sing. I'm like,
It's also something that I think you have to get used to or ask, because uh our drummer didn't used to sing, or at least with us, he didn't used to sing. But then I'm like, can you do this? And he was doing it. And then I gave him something else and he does it great. And then it's like, I used to sing this 2 songs. I'm like, why aren't you
so
singing
maybe
them?
maybe he needed some encouragement from you. Maybe he needed a pat
Yeah.
in the back,
Yeah.
you
So
know.
sometimes it's just a matter of encouragement, or, if you've always only played your instrument and maybe nobody ever asked, or you don't feel too sure, I think, that's when you use rehearsals and you just try it out.
Yeah, of course. Do you run a tight ship on stage, like all eyes on you? Like boom, hand goes up, cut the song. Like
Yes, we
we've
try.
worked on our hand signals. I told my singer, I said, like, you don't need to turn around and look, just give them cues, man. You know?
Yeah. I gotta say, I love my band, so I have nothing bad to say. They're just amazing, and obviously we've learned to understand each other. There's not, you know, they know where I'm going.
Are there any funny things happen on stage? For an example, my guitar player Larry, a lot of times he starts the song, and I guess as he's getting older, his eyesight's going. So I try to make the set list when I print it out to make the font as big as possible.
Yeah.
But sometimes he'll skip over a song. So here I am and getting ready to tune into a certain key. All of a sudden, he'll start playing the wrong song. But then we have no choice.
Oh,
We have to jump in and
I
play
mean,
along.
you know what? I've seen so many concerts of many famous people where they hit the wrong note and they're just laughing about it. I mean, famous people like Pink,
Bocelli.
Adele, and they're just laughing, at
Oh
themselves
no,
and say,
sometimes we start over.
no,
Like
yeah, of
Adele has done
course,
that. She's
yeah. It's
actually she goes
like,
stop, 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 and she restarts the song.
yeah, so I mean, it's no big deal. So it has happened that I've started another song because I was like looking at some other set list, or
Yeah,
somebody was talking to me and I
yeah,
lost track of
sure.
where, you know, but I don't make a big deal out of it. Sometimes we have changed the key of a song because it was too low for me. Um, like once, but maybe that, the guitar forgot and he started in another key. I'm like, yeah, no, let's give it another shot.
The good test of a band is how do you recover? So let's
Yeah,
say, for example, somebody goes off the rails,
yeah,
but it's the audience may not notice it at first.
yeah.
So how do we recover? How do we come back? Like I'm infamous for like playing the wrong note. I'm like, oh shit. So
I
like
mean,
I'll recover.
unless something epic, like an epic failure happens, I don't really point it
Well,
out.
an epic failure could be something like the power gets cut out. Like
Yeah,
that's happened to us.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
in the middle of a song, the power goes out.
yeah.
Or my guitar player, all of a sudden his thing just shuts down.
Yeah, I mean, that just happened to us 2 weeks ago in the middle of, the song, his FM9 just,
The fractal.
yeah.
Those guys, isn't it funny how they're all geeks? Like all these guitar players are
I
such geeks, man.
know. Like,
And they're like little scientists and engineers, and they're like, I'm like, dude, like I just plug in my stuff, you know what I'm saying?
we
I'm very
always have,
basic.
like this, I wouldn't say arguments. I just make fun of them. I'm like, isn't it better to have all your little pedals instead of having like, a spaceship that maybe just
Right.
like,
With
then you
the
have to
pedals are built in.
reboot it.
Yeah.
And but they love it. They love that thing
I know.
because it also takes, like, you can make
I
any
know.
sound.
I
Like
know.
I
They're called
on
patches.
before, yeah. on Before He Cheats, there's a patch with a violin that Larry does for me. He literally plays a violin
So
with the
your guy's is
guitar.
named Larry too. That's my guy's name, Larry. That's funny.
Well, funny enough, I have two Larrys, but
Wow.
now, yeah, but we call one of them Lars Ellington and one of
Hey, you ever
Larry
consider doing
Chase.
like maybe like you and a guitar player do like a duo thing and make some money on the side, do it like a day? Because I know that Sammy Joe of Jezebel does that.
Yeah. Um, I've thought about it, but I'm not sure I would do that just because of my work, and especially because if I want to start writing a new album, if I have
You have a full-time job. It's
time,
hard, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I have time, then I would rather write new songs than, I started gigging when I was 15, so I don't.
So let's talk about that real quick. So you're 15 years old. That's young.
Mhm.
Was the kid the people all your same age, or was it older folks? And you're like,
Always older. I've
so
had,
like you could sing really good, and you're only
yeah,
15, but come on, let's go.
yeah,
And were you playing bars at that age?
yeah,
And in Italy, that was okay to be 15
yeah,
and play in a bar.
yeah. It was. I mean, Italy uh doesn't really is especially at the time, it was not strict at all on those kind of things. And as long, I would get there, sing, and then leave. It's not like I would hang out in the
So
bar.
I'm assuming you got better and better as you got older.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever take vocal lessons?
As I was saying before, I'm not I don't I'm not a very good student per se. Like, I like to do my own
That's cool.
thing.
No, that's fine.
But I used to have a singer, opera singer. She was an older woman and I loved her. She was a famous opera singer and she taught me like exercises and things, just for the
Sure.
throat. Because she also helped like speakers if they had problems with their vocal cords, she would heal them, with exercises. She was amazing, smart lady. And I remember once, this is a funny story. My mom was there too, and sometimes she tells the story too, because one day I had a big concert in this huge place and I woke up and I had no voice. And it wasn't that day, it was the next day. So I went to her, we did a few exercises, there was almost nothing coming out. And she's like, okay, don't worry about it. She's like, tonight for dinner, it makes me laugh just thinking about it. She's like, you have to buy a bottle of champagne, not Prosecco, not like champagne from France. I'm like, why champagne? She's like, it has to be from France and it has to be champagne because it's how the bubbles are, how it's fermented, right? She's like, and while you have dinner, you have half a bottle of champagne. Then before you go to bed, you drink the other half, and you wake up like a bird, like a songbird. I'm like, okay. I mean, I have nothing else
Interesting.
to
Yeah,
lose,
right.
right? And I'm not saying everybody has to try it, but that's, at the time I did. And actually, that time it worked for me. So, I didn't need it any other time, but that one time, I don't know if it was like a psychological thing or it was actually that, but I definitely did a great concert that time, and it
Very
was
cool.
the champagne.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as we start to wrap up the show, what's in store for 2025? Any special news, big plans, exciting things?
Yes. So for sure we already started working on a couple of songs as actual Luna and the Warriors. So we we definitely want to come out with at least, I would say, 3 or 4 songs in 2025
Cool.
that we can actually present as Luna and the Warriors. And definitely lots of gigs, where I would love, at least with our originals, to open up for somebody, big. And for sure, we're trying to put together a show that it's all originals with somebody else. I'm not gonna spoil it, but this other artist also has originals
Might be
and a
somebody I know,
band.
right?
Yeah, it might be somebody, and so we're trying to do that, and that would be a fun
There's
time.
a place in downtown Sarasota that one Monday a month that they have like a showcase of original music. In the
Nice.
old days, we had bars here that were original bars. We had punk bars. What happened was the scene changed here. It's gotten very corporate.
Yeah.
It's very, very touristy and snowbirdish. So the cool thing is, well, there's a lot of work for us. Don't get me wrong. And we play every bar like once a month, so we're always full. But I'm seeing it change. It's just if, I feel bad for young people starting out. There's really no place for
Yeah.
them. Original music. There's really no place for that here. You know, like you have to do what you got to do. Is you have to infiltrate it into your covers,
Yeah,
which is fine.
that's definitely what you need to do because what else it's very hard to do a show just of that because also I think with the development of TikTok and the 3 seconds that you watch something is just what happens.
So, you have a show coming up, I believe. You're gonna be at Stottlemyre soon?
Yes,
Because
Saturday.
I'm gonna try to make that show.
Yeah, we love Subtle Myers, so yeah, you should
I very
definitely
rarely
come.
get out because I play so much, but when I
Yeah.
do get out, you know what I do? I go see as many bands as I can.
That's what I do too. And it's funny because, you would think that somebody, would say, well, let's stay home and relax, but we also go see other
Yeah, it's
bands.
fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You get to see who's out there. And, there are times that maybe you need somebody else to cover
So,
for you.
on that
So,
note, there's
yeah.
a band that I'm gonna say, you may not know them, but if you get a chance, they're really a Cape Coral, Fort Myers band, Rock Candy.
Oh, no.
They are freaking awesome.
Oh, no. I love that. We did the last seafood festival in,
St.
oh my
Pete?
God, St. Pete. Yeah, she's
Siren Vox.
Siren Vox. She did the show after us, and I love
They
her.
all sing. They're all incredible.
They're
They do
amazing. We
Boston,
we
Kansas. They
chatted.
do hard stuff and they sing it. They knock it out of the park.
We chatted, and it's actually funny because we were talking, and she's the only one that I would say, that I've heard, and I would say, just go and take over for me because I have to, go to
Well, it's so
Italy
funny
or
because
whatever.
she just got over an illness, so she had somebody covered it for her.
Yeah, she
And
told me. She told
her
me.
and Kevin, they always surround themselves with top notch musicians.
Oh,
Right?
it was an amazing show.
Yeah,
They're great.
yeah.
They're
We had a
great.
chance to open up for them once.
Nice. Yeah. No, I loved it. I love the show, and we talked after, and I love the fact that there are musicians and singers that can have that relationship. Like
Well, the cool
it's
thing
not
is,
never a comparison because we do different
right?
things. We're different people.
There's no resentment in this market. There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
jealousy. All the women get along great.
Yeah.
Even and the guys do. So that's what's cool. Like with this show,
Yeah.
I've gotten to meet a lot of people. And the cool thing about for you, because you're still kind of like unknown down here, right?
Yeah.
Um, People are gonna see this show
Yeah.
and they're gonna learn a lot about you, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
with that statement, is there anybody you want to shout out to? I know your family and friends are probably gonna see this.
Yeah.
You want to say hi or shout out to anybody?
Well, obviously, I want to say hi to Luna and the Warriors band. Everybody,
Your
Rick
bandmates?
Jones, yeah, Alex Wolf, Larry Chase, Lars Ellington. I want to thank Artie for his great work and Jared. They work together, and Jared is always, helping us out with the merch and with the dates and keeping me sane because I have another job in this. So definitely we couldn't do it. I couldn't do it without any
Are you
of
doing
them.
your own sound or do you have a sound man?
Down here, we usually have Alex.
Alex, I know Alex.
Yeah.
I forgot his last name. Russian guy?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So here we have him, and then I mean, there's a lot of gigs though that we do that they have their own sound, like Twisted Fork,
Yeah,
and
you're right. Seafood.
yeah,
But
seafood.
we have our own system and we have a big system. And we use it as we need.
Yeah,
Like you said, sometimes we don't need to bring it out.
yeah.
Sometimes I have a guy that runs it for us. And sometimes for smaller venues, we just do it ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know some people do that. I don't know.
Because
We need to get better at that.
everything is digital, everything is computerized. You set it and forget it. So for an example, if you play one particular venue, like let's say CJ's.
Yeah.
Does CJ's have house sound?
Yes.
Okay,
they
forget
do.
the bad example. Let's just pick a venue that's Stottlemyre's.
Yeah.
When you play Stottlemyre's enough, you set it. So now you
Yeah.
come back to Stottlemyre's, you hit the Stottlemyre's button,
Yeah.
and it's been preset to that. And then you just got to fine tune it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. And there's places like when we play Clearwater and Tampa, we have a sound guy, but he's basically just making sure that
You don't get too loud.
yeah.
So tell our viewers how they can reach out to you on social media. What is your Facebook? What is your website? How can they see you? Are you on Go Tonight? All those things. Like
Go
how do they know
Tonight,
where your dates are?
yeah. Go Tonight for sure. You can find us there. Luna and the Warriors. Website, lunaandthewarriors.com. We have a Facebook. We have TikTok. We have Instagram. And
So
yeah.
lunaandthewarriors.com.
Yes.
So our viewers can go there, and is your schedule updated now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
The schedule is super updated, especially because I don't update it on. So if you want to make sure, lunaandthewarriors.com.
Well, that's what makes you a
is
rock star,
the-
because you now have people helping you do stuff. Like,
Yes.
you know, I'm still lugging my own gear. I always say one day I'm going to have like a bass technician who's going to load my stuff and set it up and tune it. So that I just have to show up and play. Like
Yeah.
I pray for those days. But
Yeah.
now it's like me taking these big speakers and like,
Yeah, no, for sure. That's what we all dream about, and I take care of like the social media, but the website is Larry Chase takes care of.
do you make yourself available and engaging at venues? So for an example, I know we don't have much time on breaks.
Yeah.
But like before the show, after the show, do you try to make yourself available to say hi, take posts for pictures? Let people,
Yes.
because when for some reason, when we do seafood festivals, people want to take pictures with us
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is I'm not gonna jump to you and try to take pictures. I'm not, just because I don't do it in general. But I've had plenty of people that want to take pictures, and I'm there for sure. And if we want to chit chat, I'm all for it. Yeah, yeah.
Because if you haven't already, you're going to meet some really nice people. We have fans
Oh yeah.
that are so cool that
Yeah.
now they're like family. Like now
Yeah.
they're entrenched in our lives.
Yeah.
And they started out just as casual fans.
I mean, I have a few kids, especially that come to Stottlemeyer's and Woody's to see us, and I love them. They're like
Oh,
our mascots.
I'm glad you mentioned Woody's.
Yeah.
We're going to be there Christmas Day.
Oh wow,
Every year, it's an annual thing.
that's
Jacked Up plays
awesome.
Woody's on Christmas.
Wow.
So please, if you're bored, have nothing going on, you're sick of your family,
What,
Come down.
Christmas like the 25th?
like the 25th, man.
Okay.
It was packed last year
Oh, nice.
because people want to have a drink for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
So it was packed.
Well, if it was the 24th, because I'm Italian, that's like our main
Yeah,
night.
the 7 fishes, right?
Yeah, well, we have so much food. It's incredible. Like we cook all day and then just eat. So yeah, but 25th could be possible. That's
Well, good.
fun.
Well, you and I are now friends.
Yes, of course.
We're going to stay in touch.
Thank you for
And
having
yes,
me.
thank you for coming. I'm going to
Yeah.
try to help you as much as I can as far as sub musicians.
Yeah,
I'll introduce you to
that
some
would be
venues.
awesome. Yeah.
You just met somebody very influential today.
Oh yeah, she
So
was
that's a
amazing.
big one.
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.